Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is JeezBee, and this is This War of Mine, the Little Ones. I am recording this on my PS4, but I am doing the voiceover on my computer. And so I'm just gonna sit here and go through what's going on. Right now I'm just trying to keep everyone sustained and alive, which is extremely complicated in this game, actually. And there's a lot of components, there's a lot of stuff you have to do, and it can be very stressful with this game, especially because it's so grim in the first place. It just adds to that stress. Make sure everyone's getting enough sleep, make sure everyone's eating properly, because the less you eat and the less sleep you get, they start to move sluggishly, which in real life that's what you would do. You wouldn't have any energy to do anything. It's a lot easier to guard and scavenge and everything with 4 of them, but it's also a lot more complicated to keep everyone happy. I guess I play The Sims regularly. Like, this is an extreme form, kind of like that. You just take care of them and make sure everything's being done the way it needs to be done. They have everything they need so they can stay partially healthy and alive. I mean, it's actually really complicated, especially if you just stop paying attention for a minute and not focus on them. It goes downhill really fast. Yeah, I put in a trap, I think in my last video, to catch rats or critters of any sort, so they have meat, which is really gross, but you know, when you're surviving in a war-torn environment, you're gonna do whatever it takes to survive. I don't personally know what that's like, but there's plenty of countries in this world that get it. And this game's probably simplistic compared to what it's really like being in a war-torn area like that. But it gives you a general idea, I guess. This guy that shows up at the door has saved us so many times while I've been playing this game with food or bandages or medicine. Franco, I think his name is Franco? I don't know. However you would pronounce that. But he just comes a knocking when I really need him. As I continue trading with Franco later on in the game, I get less stingy with what I have because he requires a lot, especially when you're asking for food or medicine or bandages, stuff that's really hard to come by. You just can't be that stingy with giving him whatever he needs because you really, really need that. And when you're playing this game, the best things that I think to look for to stock up on the most would be bandages, herbal medicines, pill medicines of any kind especially. They can be traded off for stuff that you need, like food. Food is a high commodity in this game because when they're hungry and you're not giving them the nutrition that they need, then you go a day without eating maybe, and it'll be very hungry, and then they'll move more sluggishly, and by the third day, if you don't feed them properly, they'll be starving and they won't be able to do near anything. They get sick really easy. It's very complicated. I send Pavel out to scavenge most days. I always put Roman on guard and Slatia. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering these names. But she's usually on guard, and Katya gets some sleep because I have her make things during the day. Like, it's a very strategic game, actually. You gotta think ahead of time and what these people are gonna do on certain things, and it makes me use my brain, and I greatly appreciate that. I like that in a game. I try and stay away from the places at the bottom if you see like what it has at the area, and make sure you read the description. It'll tell you what you're more likely to run into there when it comes to people wise, if they're heavily armed or not, or if they're militiamen or stuff like that. And it's always good, like for most of these places too, I don't have one yet, is to have a shovel with you because there's a lot of debris you can move out of the way, and the best things that I've found at these places are hidden behind piles of debris. I also like sending him out to scavenge the most because he's the fastest runner, and if we run into danger, considering I don't have any heavy weapons, I mean, I don't have a gun or anything, and he can get out of the place really fast, hopefully without dying. This game, when I'm collecting bits and parts, reminds me highly of Fallout. I've only played Fallout 4, and I really enjoyed that game. I plan on playing some earlier ones. I probably won't record them, I'll just check them out. But it does, when you're collecting all this stuff that's going to help you build stuff, it reminds me of Fallout. And the background, it's war-torn, it's blown up, so yeah. I greatly appreciate that they put hiding spots in these places, because the last game I played, when it was the 3 guys at the beginning, it's my part 1, I lost Marco to gunshots, and it don't take very many, maybe 1 or 2, and they're gone. They don't come back. So it's just best to avoid anyone with a gun, honestly. Unless you really want to get in a fight and you're heavily armed, I mean. It's really hard to come across weaponry in this game, especially guns, unless you're lucky enough to get them off of someone. I've never actually fought anyone in this game. I'm more of a hider, not a fighter. So, yeah. Another thing you're going to come across a lot when you're searching places are things like this door up ahead. Oh, look, a gun! Yeah, if you can, upgrade your metal workshop and make a saw blade. They come in great handy. There's a lot of things that I have not been able to get into because I do not have a saw blade. Yeah, there's even 2 places in this church that I wasn't able to get into because I don't have a saw blade. Now, there's danger up ahead! Run away! Run! Yeah, run. See, he's my fast runner. That's why he is the one scavenging. And I like to keep Roman on guard because he's the one trained in combat. So if anyone is going to raid the house while my scavenger is gone, then I know everything is heavily guarded and taken care of. Roman won't let them take anything. Considering it's really hard to come across anything in this game that we really need, most likely raiders would take the stuff that is really hard to come across. Now on this version of my story, the war only lasts 20 days, so around day 8. And a lot can go wrong in one day in this game, as you will see in future videos. It's good at first in this game to gather as many materials as you can and build as many workshops as you can, because you're going to need them all. A radio greatly comes in handy to keep an ear out of what's going on the outside. And every time you listen to the radio, it writes down what's being said on that day and just keeps you up to date as to where the war is and what you can do, and also if winter is coming or not. Because that's about the time that you need to build a wood stove so they don't freeze to death. This radio also keeps you up to date as to what shortages are happening in the city, so that when Franco comes a knockin', you know what is highly needed around the area. There's also people who show up that need help, and I really recommend that you help them if you're able to, because it makes the people in your group feel content and a little bit happier, because they can get depressed and they start to get sluggish and upset, and I don't know what happens when they get too depressed, so it's just good to help out who you can when you can. And I sent him to do this because they're talking about raping women and all that stuff, and I don't want anything happening to Katia. Well, she's gone. It's a man's job, honestly. The likelihood of anything happening to him is lower than with her. This is one thing in this game that stresses me out the most. When that food supply starts to dwindle, I start to get really nervous while I'm playing this game, because it's so hard to find food. It's one of the most difficult things to come by, honestly. You'll come across parts and everything, but food, bandages, and medicine are scarce, which they're the things you need the most, and of course they're scarce, or this wouldn't be a difficult game, right? Also, when you send one of your people to help someone else, they aren't there for the night. They usually don't get back till dawn, so you only have the people you have left. So just make sure everyone's not so hungry and they've gotten enough sleep. And I slacked at some points in this game doing that, and it shows heavily in later nights and days. I took the gun in this part, and I don't know why, because I didn't have any bullets. It's just added weight if you don't have any ammunition. So unless you have bullets, and I wasn't paying attention, I suggest not taking the gun, because she still has to use her fists. It's worthless. It's always good to see what's behind the door before you actually go through the door. Honestly. If nobody knew that, I'm just throwing that in there. It takes me a minute to figure out how to, get over the door blockage. You need to climb. And if there are any door blockages blocking your way, I suggest unblocking them if you are able to before you progress any further into the place you're scavenging, because if you have to get out in a hurry, it's just better to have them unblocked. For this, I'm not gonna let her... Actually, hold on. They might go inside. They do. Okay. She's okay. But you always wait till they're gone. At least I do. I don't fight. I'm not fighting. The chances of my person surviving is higher if I don't fight. If they just don't know I'm there. That's always better. And even if your pack's full, if you can possibly get more stuff, you can drop some stuff. And, especially food and medicines. It's not special. There's quite a few of those guys here, so this gets a little dangerous. Yeah, I got to the point in this house where it just wasn't worth it. She's unarmed, and they're all armed, and it's just not very good idea. And here he comes. Run. Always pay attention to those red markers for danger, just in case. So there's only 11 more days until the ceasefire, but oh no. Well, Pavel got back, and they weren't able to take anything because I have so many people on guard, and one of them is trained in combat. So that's good. They don't end up taking anything. We don't have anything! Now I gotta have everyone sleep today because Pavel was gone all night helping people. Katia was out scavenging, and then I had 2 on guard, so everyone's gotta get some sleep. I highly recommend building an herbal garden as soon as possible because it comes in, especially if you have a smoker, which I don't like to say that that's a good thing, but they're a lot more content if they have cigarettes, and you collect a lot of tobacco actually in this game, so you can roll your own. And also it comes with, if you come across any medicinal herbs, you can create your own herbal medicine. And also, I'm trying to think what else you can build in the herbal garden. We'll see. And now we're out of food, and I'm starting to really stress out. I'm gonna have to go on an equipment run because we really need bits and pieces of stuff to build stuff. Desperately. That's what else you can make. If you have alcohol, you can create your own bandages. And bandages are really handy because you'd be amazed at how often they become wounded. And bandages and sleep. Sleep is a cure-all in this game, and make sure the first thing you build are beds. I cannot stress that enough. The first thing you need to build are beds because a good night's sleep goes far in this game for your characters. And when they're sick, they need to recover. They recover a lot better when they have an actual bed. And also, their tired goes away. There's no very tired. They just feel better when they get a good night's sleep in a bed. And I don't blame them. Like, who wants to sleep on a hard-ass floor, especially when the hard-ass floor has holes in it and is wet? No, I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, throughout that herbal workshop, I roll a lot of cigarettes for Roman because he's my guard. I mean, he wants smokes. That's fine. Alright, this is where I'm going to end the video, guys. You all are amazing. As always, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye now.